back to the Washington football team investigation. Lisa Banks, one of the lawyers who represents more than 40 current or former Washington football team employees, a letter yesterday, and we'll defer to the full text of the letter, but she says, contrary to his disingenuous, that's a fancy word for lying, comments yesterday, there's no reason he can't release a report and at the same time protect anonymity for those who want it. It happens all the time. And she's right. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
But part of what he's paid for is to stand up at the press conference with a straight face and say something that may be disingenuous or worse. And what is anyone going to do? I had somebody email me yesterday saying, man, these reporters, they're cowards. They don't stand up to Roger Goodell. It's like, you don't understand. You can't object to his answer.
Right.
You can't stand there and say you're a liar. That's what happens after the fact when people take his words and analyze them, interpret them, talk about them in settings like this.
Yeah.
But in the confine, you're never going to get credentialed for another event.
No, never.
If you stand up there and call the guy a liar while he's trying to talk.
Right. No doubt about it. Yeah. I mean, these guys got their jobs to worry about, certainly, and they're not going to hijack the press conference and get in a yelling match with the NFL commissioner. You're right. And
I'd love to see it.
Right.
It would be
Me
great
too.
if it happened, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, all they can do is continue to ask the questions and maybe phrase them a different way and continue to, you just beat down the subject to where maybe you start to see, some cracks in the answers, and then you can go from there. But, yeah, I mean, again, people are a little too critical of the media that way. I'm not saying the media is perfect. We all got our flaws in this department. But, yeah, I mean, again, it's just not as easy as what people make it out to be at times.
Now, that doesn't mean that Roger Goodell will completely escape an occasion during which he would be pressed aggressively based upon answers he may provide. And if and when he's ever testifying to the U.S. House Committee on Oversight and Reform, and he says something like, well, we can't redact names from a report, one of the members of Congress could call BS on the spot and push him hard. And I say that because one of the two members of Congress who signed the letter just last Thursday to Roger Goodell from the U.S. House Oversight and Reform Committee, Illinois Democrat Raja Krishnamurthy, here he is from yesterday with his thoughts on what Roger Goodell had to say at the press conference he conducted this week.
We have to investigate three things. One, the workplace and the allegations of severe sexual harassment, among other things. Two, the way in which the NFL actually investigated this. The fact that they told the lead investigator not to write anything down is highly suspicious. And then three, the use of these non-disclosure agreements to silence victims and perhaps to allow sexual predators to strike again is also deeply distressing. And so we have to look into all three of these things. Obviously, I hope that they also understand that we do have tools at our disposal to compel the production of documents as well as live testimony. I hope we don't have to resort to that. I hope that we can work out an agreement to receive the materials we requested.
He also said he was disturbed by Goodell's comments because on one hand he says they intend to be cooperative with the committee, but Goodell's also saying we're not going to produce any other information. And how do you reconcile that? Because we want information.
Yeah.
We're going to be cooperative, but we refuse to produce anything else. Okay, what you're going to cooperatively tell us you're not going to produce anything else. So this is trouble for the NFL. And, basically they want to look into the crime, the cover-up, and the mechanism that the league uses to engineer future cover-ups with the non-disclosure agreement. So the NFL's got three problems here. And they looked into the issue of NDAs coming out of Jerry Richardson surrendering the Panthers in 2017 because he had multiple NDAs that people breached, and that got him to just basically throw the keys to the franchise to the NFL, sell, and walk away. But they have been resistant, the NFL has, to ditching the whole NDA thing because that's how you make problems go away.
Right.
If you've got a current or former employee who believes that his or her rights were violated in some way, you write the check, you sign the NDA, and you don't have to worry about that person potentially taking you down and putting you in a spot where you have to sell your team. So of those three things, the one thing that would strike the most fear in the hearts of the owners going forward is if the NDAs evaporate.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I mean, I could see that happening. I don't know. You know, the last few days has kind of changed my thought on the process of where this is going a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I feel like in the last 24 hours or 36 hours, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I haven't followed it quite closely enough, where I just feel like the temperature's gone up a little bit, where I thought maybe this might just slowly fade away and the NFL might just take a few, punches on the chin and whatever and deal with it and just everybody would forget. I think I've gotten to the point here where it doesn't look like that's going to happen, especially after some of what we just saw today, yesterday and the clips we played here. It seems like there's going to be enough of a charge here that now I'm thinking like, whoa, the NFL might be in trouble here, and this doesn't look like it's going away. And there's full steam, full straightaway attack here by the powers that be in Washington to unearth some of these emails and documents.
Harder said than done.
Full steam ahead. That's what I was looking for. Full steam ahead.
I've already gotten emails pointing out the Simsism from earlier in the show when you said harder said than done.
I did say that. I know I did. Damn.
Simsism.
Damn, Simsism. It's 7 a.m. on the East Coast, okay? I'm still waking up, a little foggy in the brain. That's why I got to drink so much damn coffee. I got to wake myself up.
I am very encouraged that we are where we are. And I want to say something to the folks out there. And I don't get many of these in this setting because most of the emails I've gotten from people are very supportive. Keep going. Keep pushing. I've gotten them from people who aren't part of the league, and I've gotten them from some people behind the curtain who think something fishy's gone on.
Yeah.
But this whole, why are you doing this? The NFL, you make money off the NFL. You hate the NFL. Why are you tagging the NFL? Look, the stewards of the sport work for the league office. That does not make them immune. Just because they work for the NFL does not make them immune to being held accountable for the things that they shouldn't do. I hold the shield to a very high standard. I have grown up and spent my adult life following the NFL, and I want the people who are running the league and who own the teams to do the right thing at all times. And when they don't, I'm going to let them know that they aren't, and I'm glad that this was kept alive long enough for Congress to get involved. Because the confluence of events we've seen over the past week, where the letter was sent to Goodell, and then it just lined up perfectly that he had the press conference as part of the meetings that they held this week. And I'm surprised he had a press conference at all. And I think, truth be told, they regret doing it.
That's what I said yesterday, right? I was like, I don't know why. Why have it? I don't get that. I'm still amazed at that.
Don't have to do it.
Yeah, right.
Don't have to do it.
Right.
I suspect there are some owners who think that he screwed it up and we shouldn't have done it, even though what can you expect the guy to do when you're taking a position that is not reasonable and your basis for taking the position is not credible?
Yeah.
This idea that we have to keep everything secret just because some of the people want their names left out of it, it's apples and oranges. But now you throw on top of it the comments from Representative Krishnamurthy. This thing's not going away. They got 1 week from today to respond. We'll see what the response is, and we'll be ready to pick it apart if it needs to be picked apart. If it's anything other than we are giving you the information you want, we're going to pick apart whatever excuse they give. And to get back to the point from earlier, even though it's not proper etiquette and protocol in a press conference for one of the reporters to press and grill the commissioner when he says something that's not true, it just moves on to the next question.
Right.
It's not going to happen if he's called to testify to the U.S. House Oversight and Reform Committee. And the last time he had to do it, 2009, that was when they had their concussion epiphany. Their concussion epiphany was not voluntary.
Yeah, no,
the
it was not.
concussion epiphany was forced on them by Congress.
Right.
And this epiphany that they may eventually have over the WFT investigation may be forced on them by Congress.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.